This is gonna be a... Sorry, I was making sure it was recording. It's gonna be a super awkward way to fucking sit, but hey, what else is new, right? So, guess who got married today? Yes, married. Yes, legally not. That was my married to myself ring. I had to move it over. There's my $10 wedding set, baby. I shit you not. Tony and I are... Well, first of all, today is our 4th anniversary. And our 4th, yeah. And I don't know if I ever told you guys about meeting Tony. But I'm going to now. So if I already have, skip this part and get to the recent shit. I met Tony 4 years ago today. 2 days before my grandma's birthday. He was still in the army at that time. And he was doing drill and all that bullshit. And as soon as he walked in the door, I knew I was going to spend the rest of my life with him. Like, I was so nervous the night before I met him that I stayed up all night listening to Recovery by Eminem, the whole CD, because it was, his aunt was the one who set us up, and his dad's side of the family, I grew up with them, I think I've mentioned that before. So his aunt has been like a big sister to me my entire life. And she had never tried to set me up with anybody before. But she's a little on the goofy side, I guess you could say. Sorry, Misty, if you ever watched this. And I just didn't know about her setting me up. He was the only member of the family that I didn't know, him and his brother, because of his whore mother. And let's get right down to it, baby. But I'm glad that I didn't know him during my childhood, or we would not be married with a child right now, because I don't know, I find it very hard to date people that I've known all my life. I tend to see them more as brothers. But I was so fucking nervous about meeting him, and I changed my clothes probably 9 times, and I was just a wreck. And then he walked in the door, and it wasn't like, I don't know, it wasn't like, you know how you meet that person when you're like a teenager or early 20s, and it's like electricity and that type shit? It wasn't like that. It was like coming home. It was like he had been my best friend for 1,000,000 years, and he had been away, and now he was home. And it was the weirdest fucking feeling. Like, every time I try to describe it, I sound so fucking cheesy and I hate it, but I don't know how else to describe it. It was not like, oh, look at this new person I'm meeting. It was like, there you are, I had done a spell, actually, November 1st of that year, to find the person I was supposed to spend my life with. November 9th, I met him. That was another reason why I allowed Misty to set us up and see if we liked each other, because I found that mighty coincidental that this woman who had never tried to set me up with anybody in the entirety of my life called like 4 days after I did a spell to find the person I was supposed to be with and said, hey, I think you need to meet my nephew. I think you guys would be good together. So we talked all night. I told him shit that first night that I don't think I have ever told anybody, like deep shit that I don't tell people or talk about. I told him. And I just felt so comfortable with him. And we spent 2 days together. And then I went back home to Grandma's because it was her birthday. And I was home for like 4 or 5 days, and then he came to my house, and this is just how it went. I would go down there because he was staying with his dad at that time, his biological dad. He has 2 dads. No, they're not together. It's not like my dad and his boyfriend. It's like he has the stepdad that raised him and the biological dad who wasn't allowed to raise him. And his stepdad is amazing, by the way. It's not even like that. I love them both to death. But, he was staying at his dad's, and it was like every single time we were together, and whoever had to leave, that piece of skin, I'm going to show you all some fucked up shit here in a minute. Every time we had to leave, it was like we were dying to be around each other again. So 2 months after we met, we moved into my mother's basement together, and 5 or 6 months after that, we got this place. So we count the day we met as our anniversary because we kind of met and just never parted again or anything like that. So we got married on our anniversary because he pretty much remembers that date. He's really shitty with dates. I didn't want to make him learn another one. And it was very Vegas-like, but without the partying and the fun time. We went to the marriage license place at the courthouse, got it, and then went way the fuck up toward North Columbus to go to this place called American Ministries, which is this little dinky office across from Mothers Against Drunk Driving, who apparently have an office right across from it. There were a whole bunch of little businesses in there. And I don't think Grandpa knows at all what happened today. Like, him and Grandma were there, and I'm grateful for that. Because who knows if he's going to be here a year from now. So I'm glad that even though I don't think he realized what was happening, he was there when I got married. That sounds so fucking weird. I never thought I would get married. Like, I liked the idea of a wedding. I thought that'd be a fun time. But I didn't see a point in getting married because we lived like we were married anyway. What the fuck was that piece of paper gonna do? And Tony, when I was pregnant for River, tried over and over again to get me to marry him. And I'm just like, we can't afford a wedding. What is the point? And that's really what we were waiting on. I'm not trying to sound superficial about it. It's not that. Obviously, I'm sporting my $10 wedding set and I love it to death. I really do. As long as it doesn't turn my finger green, I'll probably keep this set for the rest of my life. It's not a, we have to have this great big grand thing type of situation. It's just, I felt like I already had the marriage, but without the paper. But I would totally enjoy, like, walking down the aisle in a wedding dress and having everybody there and all that. So I told him, like, no, why would we do that? Just because I'm pregnant? Believe me, that has haunted me every fucking day since his mother served us with papers. If I would have just said yes, we wouldn't even be going through this right now. But, and, you know, of course, this situation spurred this on. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't. I could totally see this judge at this point being like, well, you weren't married when she filed, so we're going to keep the case going. I really could. Like, this whole thing is for money any fucking way. I don't know if this is going to work. But I know that I'm having a hell of a time trying to find a lawyer. Sorry, I'm putting my anti-wrinkle cream on. My face feels so fucking dry. I'm such a weirdo. Anyway, I'm having a hell of a time trying to find a lawyer. I've called just about every place that will take a case for free. And every single one of them has had one excuse or another for why they can't help me. And legal aid told me they can't help me because it's only a visitation case, not a custody case. Yet I'm being told that the judge was allowed to appoint a guardian ad litem because visitation is a form of custody case. And then I'm being told by Tony's cousin, who is a paralegal, that they absolutely should have taken my case. I was told by a woman at the Bar Association here in Columbus that they absolutely should have taken my case. So I'm thinking about calling back and explaining the situation again, hopefully to a different person. Because I would think that the woman at the American Bar Association would know whether or not legal aid would take a case like that. I'm just saying. I am, with the situation with the guardian ad litem and her being the way she is and her having absolutely no interest in what is best for my child, I'm trying to cover all of my bases. I want this fucking over with. And if I could get it dismissed before January, I would be one grateful bitch. I just want it done. Like, this is ridiculous. Everybody seems to know that it's ridiculous except for the people who are keeping this going. So, we talked about it the other night, and he said, we live like we're married anyway. If that is what it takes for the state of Ohio to recognize our right as parents to say, no, this woman is not taking our child, I mean, no guardian ad litem and no judge is going to know this bitch the way her son, who lived with her for 17 years before he finally left to go to his stepdad's house because she tried to have him arrested for not staying home with her children so she could go party. And he left, and he lived with his stepdad for like 2 years. But his stepdad, who was not even married to his mother at this point, but he did raise him. He raised him from the time he was like 7 until they split up, which he was about 14, 15. So I think it's wonderful, actually, that Todd has stayed in Tony's life like that. And I really, out of all of the grandparents River has, Todd and his wife Susie are the only two I would leave her with when she gets older and she's comfortable with doing something like that. Because I know that with those two, nothing bad would ever happen to my child. Todd would break a motherfucker in half, and I really truly think Susie might too. She might be a tiny woman, but the way she stands up for her 20-year-old son shows me she ain't gonna let nobody fuck with my kid. And that's what I want out of grandparents. So when River is old enough and comfortable enough to stay somewhere, that is who I will let her be with. But anyway, I got way off track. A guardian ad litem and a judge will never know her the way her own son does. Not only that, the minute both parents stood up in that courtroom and said, we do not want our child going alone with this woman, that should have been it. We should not have to be married to have our right as parents. Like, what the fuck does marriage have to do with that? Now, I'm not saying the grandparents' rights should be dropped. I absolutely do not think that. People need protected from people like Trudy who keep their children away from an entire side of their family and run their mouths and isolate them from them because your old man wouldn't fucking stay married to you. We need grandparents' rights. But we need a clause in there that explains to the court, who apparently doesn't understand this, that whether they're married or not, when both parents are in agreement, that's the end of it. And if something should happen to the father, and he did not ever let his child go alone with his family and life, then the part about having people whose husbands died can also be sued in court over this shit, that should be dropped too. Like, any way, shape, or form that both parents say, fuck no, this crazy bitch is not taking our child, regardless of a marriage certificate, that should be it. But nobody explained that to the state of Ohio. So, in a couple of weeks when I get the abstract marriage license thing, the legal form that tells you that you're married. Hold on. Sorry. Coffee. I've not had enough coffee today, I don't think. When I get that abstract, I will be Kiera Snyder Gillian. Well, I'm pretty sure I have to go through 100 hoops and pay a fucking fortune to change my name. But, I don't know. We'll see. But, yeah. So, I'm not dropping my name. I'm not dropping my grandpa's name. But I'll hyphenate it. Compromise, bitches. That's what I wanted to do with River's name. And I'm still upset that we didn't. I'm the last person with my grandpa's name. He's the last person with his grandpa's name. Makes sense, right? That's what I thought. Yeah. So, check this out. I don't know if you can see it. My eye is completely infected. There is apparently still an infected eyelash somewhere. I cannot find it. I've pulled them all out from here to here. I'm thinking maybe it's up top. But because of that, I look like I've been punched in my face. Tony was like, oh my god, people are going to think I beat the fuck out of you the night before your wedding. Like, yeah, probably, buddy. I ain't gonna lie. Last time this happened, this bag, I had never had this happen in my life. Hang on 1 second. Sorry, y'all. God damn it. I think the phone camera is on the side where my lighters are. Alright, y'all. You're about to get a close up of my face, and I'm really sorry. Look at that shit. It hurts so fucking bad. Like, the idea that something so small could hurt so bad, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ludicrous. Oh, and I have, like, 7 boils under my arm. And this is all because of the stress that I'm under right now. Oh, there's the break in the fucking toilet lid. I mean, I'm smoking, like, almost 2 packs a day. And I'm buying real cigarettes. So I'm spending a fortune. That's gotta stop. I'm a fucking wreck. And I wouldn't have been so upset had the guardian ad litem been somebody that was interested in actually doing their job. Knowing that the guardian ad litem is the way that she is puts knots in my stomach, because her word is law in that fucking courtroom. But I have not given up on finding a lawyer. I will keep calling. I was sitting there in the fucking courthouse today, like, man, I could pull a Kathy Bates, just snatch one of these fuckers up and tell them to take my case. Hobble those bitches. That was a joke, in case anybody wants to flip the fuck out and call the FBI because I'm threatening lawyers. That was a joke. This whole day has been, wow. But I'm married, y'all. And even if I don't have a lawyer yet, when I get the abstract form, whatever the fuck it is, I was told by the attorney that I spoke with for the free consultation that I can go up to the 4th floor and there's the papers that you need to file for, you know, like dismissal, whatever, and I can do it myself. So even if I don't have a lawyer yet, I am going to go file to dismiss this case on the grounds that the parents are married now. But like I said, I feel like if we don't go in there with the lawyer, they're going to be like, oh, well, you were not married when it was filed. Because that's the type of situation we're dealing with here. I just cannot believe that nobody is talking about this. That everybody, I think nobody knows about this law. Would be my guess. Because Tony's cousin is a paralegal. Has been for some time. Works for the Ohio Supreme Court. And did not know that a grandparent could take any unwed mother to court, and even if the father is standing beside the mother, doesn't matter, they can take it to trial. Like, you call anybody in Ohio that's a lawyer, and 9 times out of 10, they're going to tell you there are no grandparents' rights left. So, what the fuck are they doing? And I just can't believe this. We cannot be the only people this has happened to. I know it happened to a couple back in 2000. But there's no way we're one of only 2 that this has ever happened to. Like, why is nobody talking about this bullshit, very unconstitutional law? Because it is. It's even been ruled unconstitutional. Like, what the fuck is going on? I know the courts are all about making their goddamn money, but this is not okay. Sorry, I'm not ranting about this. I'm talking about being married. So yeah. I am now Kiara Snyder Gillian, or will be in a couple of weeks. I changed it on Facebook already. It looks weird. It does. It looks weird, but it's alright. I feel like maybe Kiara Snyder Gillian will have an easier time of life than Kiara Snyder has had. Like, maybe this is opening up a whole new chapter, and Kiara Snyder Gillian is blessed instead of being cursed, and mostly decent things happen to her. I'm hoping. Right. Oh my god, that hurts so bad. Oh yeah, my grandma gave me one of her diamonds. Sorry, that's the arm that has the boils. I'm not really much of a yellow gold person, but in the light, if you look at it, it's mostly white gold. And like, how could I tell her no? She was so excited about all this. See, my mother has been married twice. They were both like courthouse weddings. My grandmother did not know either time until after it was over. My uncle has never been married and probably never will be. He's pushing 50 and still isn't, so I'm guessing he never will be. And he's lived with one woman for over 20 years. But He's just not the marrying kind. And this is the first wedding of like one of her kids that she's ever got to see. And she was so excited. Like, I know she feels bad because she didn't have money to give me some big fancy wedding, but that doesn't bother me. I don't have the money to give me a big fancy wedding, so it is what it is. But she gave me money to buy my dress, which was a long black dress. I got married in a long black dress. Now, when we have the ceremony a year from now, and, you know, we invite everybody, because you could only have 4 people with you, or you had to pay $50, and we didn't have $50. The 25 was all we could do. So, when we have the big ceremony and everybody's there and all that, I want to wear a white and red dress. I've had my eye on this motherfucker. I hope it's still on eBay. I have had this eye on this motherfucker for years. Didn't even think I'd ever get married, but kept tabs on this dress for years. It's made by an English person, I believe, and this person makes dresses and sells them on eBay and has for a very long time. So I'm hoping this person is still there making dresses and selling them on eBay, because they're fucking drop dead gorgeous and the prices are wonderful. So I won't get married in a black dress for the ceremony, but I did for the actual legal part of it. It's a beautiful long black dress. I fucking love it. My grandmother could not believe I got married in a black dress. Told me it was bad luck and all kinds of shit. Like, black is death and rebirth, and this is kind of like a death and rebirth. I think we're cool here. But yeah, I better get the fuck off here. I've been rambling on for almost 25 minutes, and that will take 100 years to upload. So, I love you all, and when I have a ceremony, I will probably stream it so that y'all could keep it for posterity's sake, for those of you who are too far away to come, Cheryl. And I love you all.